on 102.7 Mom FM's Facebook, on our Hot Country Hits 99.9 Facebook page, our YouTube channel. And as well, you can listen to this over your radio on 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9, along with your smart devices like your Amazon Alexa and Google Home. We're streaming it there. You can obviously download our app, West Michigan Radio, off of the iPhone or Android store. And of course, at any time, you can head over to WMOM.FM or hotcountryhits.com and just click that play button, and you can listen to these segments and, of course, all the music and information. Kaitlyn Aldrich, she is joining us today. Kaitlyn, last time we talked, you were just getting over a little bit of that bug that's out there. Oh, it's crazy. Feeling better today?
Yes.
Oh, good to hear that. And getting ready for a city council meeting tonight that is packed and packed and packed. And one of the things I remember us talking about last time was the events and happenings, and looking forward to that this spring, summer, fall. And tonight, it sounds like it is going to be one event after another that's up for consideration with the city council, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. It's tonight is definitely it's a showcase example of how busy our summer is here in Ludington.
Well, looking forward to it. And our Facebook page, we've listed the events that are on the city council's agenda tonight with the dates, the proposed dates. And they pretty much cover a large gamut, including downtown events and Ludington JCI. They have quite a few events that they're presenting to you. And we want to get to that here in just a moment or two. But let's look at the overall agenda. I've got that pulled up here on my screen. And you've got a couple of maintenance things, considerations. What pops out at you tonight for the city council meeting that might be the most interesting for those outside of the events that are on the schedule?
I would say the most interesting is adopting the ordinance for parking offenses and fines. We're realigning our fee schedule for parking offenses. Folks will notice that some of our fines are going down. Those include overnight fines related in the wintertime, overnight street parking. We realize that in some residential areas, overnight parking is very challenging. So we're looking to decrease those overnight parking fines in the wintertime. And then we're also looking to realign the parking fines and increase some of those fines, especially in handicap areas and a few other places around town. We've received some feedback over the years that it's not a deterrent for folks. They find it more convenient to just park and pay the parking ticket and deal with that later. So obviously we need to increase some of those parking fines in certain areas and create that enforcement barrier where it's needed. So that is in the packet. And then another probably sticking point for some folks is also increasing the daily and annual fees at the boat launching ramps. It's my understanding that the daily and annual passes and both daily and annual passes for residents and non-residents have not increased since 2008 or 2009.
Wow, that's a long time.
So yeah. So the daily rate is increasing from $10 to $11 a day. And that's across the board, resident or non-resident. And then goodness, I should not just be quoted without actually having the information in front of me.
That's
But I
okay.
believe the residential rate for the boat launch annually is going from $30 to $50.
Okay.
And the non-resident is going from 60 to 100.
People will ask, since it hasn't been raised since 2008, 2009, only going up $1 in one area and a few dollars in the other area. Uh, is that is there a reason, I guess, that year after year after year it didn't go up? Is it because obviously the attraction of bringing in so many people to fish in the area, to go boating, so on and so forth? It's a huge attraction for those that are local and out of town? Or is there other reasons why it hasn't gone up in years?
With being newer to city management just in the last year and a half here, it sounds like the city fees across the board haven't been evaluated in a decade
Mm,
or more in most areas. I think it's just something that the city hasn't done um, in most areas. Even water and sewer for a long time, those rates just didn't go up. Only recently have we been, as an organization, been better about making sure that those costs are aligning with our actual or that those fees are going up with our costs and with the projects that we have and in our infrastructure needs. Um, it's easier to keep up with water and sewer rates because we have um, a uh, a groups and utility services that help us determine those needs. It's a little bit harder when you have parking lots and boat launching ramps that aren't necessarily overseen by independent, third parties that can necessarily help you with that oversight. And they're really as an organization, they're just your sole responsibility. And we've been pushing off significant, I mean, $750,000 capital projects of those boat launching ramps. They need to be replaced,
mhm,
especially the one down at Copian Park. Um, even with a grant, there's still a significant match needed to replace that boat launching ramp and do parking lot repairs. And unfortunately, that um, those dollars, even the matching dollars, have to come from somewhere. Those funds,
yeah,
the use of that infrastructure, they have to support themselves.
mhm.
So, we're just going through and trying to, make different alignments. And like you said earlier, there's folks that really love to use those resources and be out there on the lake. And we just want to make sure that they're maintained and can be able to continue to be used for many years.
As we talk about fees this morning, by the way, we're talking with Kaitlyn Aldrich, city manager of Ludington, and don't forget to tap on your phone because that's I'm going to remind you throughout the segment, uh, as that'll keep your phone going. And Allison, she asked a question on our Facebook. She said, she says, would be nice if they enforce the fees for those that don't clear sidewalks in the winter as well. Homeowners that maybe don't live in the Ludington area full time. How do you address that if you could, or suggestions? And that does make sense because you know that we have individuals that go away for the winter that come back in the spring and summertime, and those sidewalks are a responsibility of that homeowner in front of their property. How do you address that, or has that concern come up?
Um, as far as I know, that concern hasn't necessarily been addressed here at City Hall. But it's certainly something that we can discuss. Um, every community handles it a little bit differently. Um, some communities don't address it. Some absolutely enforce it and ticket it.
Mhm.
Some communities have different programs where there's students involved and they help get out and go into the community and help keep the sidewalks clear. All communities have different challenges. We certainly have that tourist type community where a lot of folks leave in the winter time.
Mhm.
We also have a significant portion of the population that are elderly and have a challenge getting out in the winter time and doing that snow clearing, so they would need assistance doing so. and being able to rely on an agency or something like that to help them with that snow clearing. So just making sure that we have the resources available to the folks that need that help in clearing that snow, especially in a timely manner. Those are all like the types of challenges that we would have to work through before we necessarily did some type of enforcement, because we wouldn't want to necessarily enforce it before folks have reasonable options to themselves, but before they're dinged for something like that.
And don't mean to, pile on your plate in the sense, but obviously we're, still in wintertime. Is it something that might make sense to bring up between now and next winter, whether than react right now? And and I would assume Allison has a really good question, because there's going to be gaps on the sidewalks. Kids are trying to go to school, and or just residents in general walking around, and we'll see some icy and snow covered areas that aren't tended to in that sense.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think next winter is a much more reasonable timeline because we have great partners here in the community. And it's just getting those partners together at the table and connecting people with resources, and seeing if it's a lift that this community is able to pull together, and what that would look like.
Mhm.
Um,
And maybe
because
go ahead.
as we all know, sometimes it's a challenge just for us to get out the door and get our own paths cleared to our cars sometimes in the morning. And then, other folks have other challenges, and just being able to um being able to meet that need here in Ludington, and what does that look like?
And as you mentioned, sometimes it might be an elderly citizen there, but I think maybe part of Allison's concern is the idea of if somebody's not in town during the winter time, that might be
Yes.
something that they're concerned about.
Yep.
We're talking with Kaitlyn Aldrich, city manager of Ludington, and I'm just looking over the agenda for the night. And tonight you've got the Lakeshore Pirate Heads and their Buccaneer Bash, which is a fantastic event. It continues to support the Alzheimer's Association, if I remember right, year after year. They're going to, or you have a report actually that's under your area of the city council meeting tonight. And I would assume it's just consideration again for continuing that. Is that right?
Yes, yep, correct.
Okay. For that Buccaneer Bash, a resolution as they're looking for the charitable gaming, I would assume license or permission there, right?
Yeah, they do a raffle.
Okay.
And with that raffle, they need a charitable gaming license.
Okay.
And that's that's what that agenda item is pertaining to, is the permission to do the raffle.
That makes sense. You have some improvements at the boat launch, I think, here on the agenda as well. I thought I saw something there. Oh, for approval of a quote from High Power for the dockside power pedestal. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
So that is still pertaining to the DNR grant that the city received for Dock A, to rebuild Dock A. It is I believe it's a $1.5 million grant that the city received from the DNR. It's overall close to a $2 million project. What's different about this, and why we continue to see the Dock A project come back to the city council repeatedly, is the city is not using a main contractor to manage this project. So this project is not being bid one time.
Okay.
It's not like the construction, the electrical, the pipes, all of the work is being bid one time. The marina manager is managing the project to save us on that construction management aspect, probably saving the city $200 or $300,000
Wow.
by managing it in house. But what
Okay.
that means is all of the components of the construction project, we have to bid out one at a time.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
this is just the power pedestal portion of the project. That portion is over both the marina managers and my spending authority.
Okay. Okay.
So it went out for bid. We have the quotes. He has selected high power, and now that recommendation is going before city council.
Okay.
So just
Yeah.
as the project continues to evolve and the pieces get put together, it'll just continue to go back to city council until that project is complete.
Do you see this as part of your efforts to, as we talked about last time, try to save the city money as much as possible by taking this approach, even though it's a little bit more workload on you and the city council in a sense?
Yes, but I just want to remind folks who are listening and are listening about the overall budget discussions is this is the marina fund, so
Mhm.
it is not tied to the general fund. So while it is saving the city money, it is an enterprise fund, and it
Okay.
is saving specifically the marina money and allowing their dollars to stretch further, which is great. We want that practice in all of our funds, but it is not necessarily impacting the general fund.
Okay, that makes sense. I know we are short on time, so we'll just look through some of the events. We've got the lake jump that's looking for approval for April 18th. You have the Lakestride half marathon that'll be in the early part of June, 6th, 12, and 13th there. And then I think seven events for the downtown Ludington events, which include the farmers market live in the plaza. You've got Love Ludington weekend that will be back again on June 5th. The lumber days are scheduled for October. The Halloween celebration is on the agenda. The Small Business Saturday is up. And as well, we're talking about 2027 already, as well, with the New Year's Eve ball drop, trying to make sure that those get put into the calendar sooner than later, right?
Yes.
You have also the Ludington area JCs. They've got the Freedom Festival, the Children's Parade, the 1 Mile Run, the fireworks, which is good to see the fireworks coming up on the agenda because I know they've struggled, for years there with raising funds for the following year's fireworks. And we want to make sure that we start having those conversations now, that we start promoting that fundraising, et cetera, because that's a big deal in Ludington. That Freedom Festival is a huge deal, attracting a lot of people and bringing community together.
It is, and I think that's a challenge in um all of the events that we have here in Mason County. Um, Overall, Mason County it is small, and we have a significant amount of events that provide an incredible opportunity for most age groups here, or
Mhm.
all age groups here. And funding is obviously, I think, the biggest challenge, biggest obstacle. So I guess I'll take this moment to not advocate for any particular event, but just um, taking the time to find any organization or event that you may be passionate about here, and whether it's volunteering your time or if you're able to uh, financial resources and providing that every dollar or every 10 minutes of time that you have goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the 250th anniversary of the United States this year, I would assume that they might bring a little bit of a twist in their presentations tonight, or what they have proposed, and we're excited to break that down over the next few weeks and months as well. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you wanted to bring up that's outside of the agenda that you want the community to know about?
I don't think so. I think I really probably wore everybody out last time. Um, so if you're really looking for any extra information and you didn't listen to the last segment, I would encourage you maybe to go back to 2 weeks ago. Otherwise, I will have some more information in 2 weeks. But I always appreciate this time and looking forward to another busy summer.
All right. Excited about that. Kaitlyn Aldrich, the city manager of Ludington. And as Allison brought up with a question, and Steve had mentioned in the comments too, if you have questions or thoughts, I know there's an opportunity for, without bogging you down, to be able to answer some of those questions from time to time, or for us to bring it up in future segments too, to help with some clarification. But I always love hearing from the audience, and I would assume you do as well, because in most cases they're citizens of Ludington and it affects them.
Yeah, so no, I always appreciate the question. And if I can dig any further in on that snow removal question or get any insight on what we've done in the past, I will certainly circle back. So I appreciate the question, Allison. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Kaitlyn, and have a fantastic Monday. And we'll chat in just a couple weeks.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it. It is 102.7 Mom